I am finally rewatching / watching for the first time all of One Piece. I know that doesn't make much sense, but we'll get into more of that later. But I'm hyped because I just got through my first big boy arc since crossing the Grand Line. Alabasta, the first arc where One Piece evolves from a lighthearted adventure story to a layered, impactful, broader narrative. 6.5 Straw Hats, 8 volumes, and 39 episodes of one of the greatest anime arcs of all time. That was released 2.5 decades ago. Does it hold up? Should y'all watch it if y'all haven't? Will the black bars on my screen distract me from the actual events going on? If you are watching One Piece, if you've been watching One Piece, or if you're just like me and starting it right now, it's the Alabasta arc where you really get to see what makes One Piece so good. We are watching a political thriller in a pirate anime with equally high stakes for all the pirates, marines, and monarchs involved, all while initially getting dropped into a coup d'etat that's 75% completed. So obviously, before we even get to the story, we realize that there was a whole nother story going on. There are directly related parties, indirectly related parties, recurring villains, long lost family members, seemingly unrelated, no pun intended. And Oda finds a way to set up future world building, continue past story arcs, all in the middle of the most dramatic arc in One Piece thus far. Hey, what's up y'all? It's the Bread Show, a place where we give our anime and gaming opinions while also doing a little bit of animating and gaming ourselves. And if y'all were tuning into the streams, y'all would know I am re-watching One Piece. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a One Piece YouTube series where we gonna start with Alabasta, next is Skypiea, Water 7, and all the other ones after that. So sit tight, it's gonna be a long one. Please like the video, it helps the channel out a lot, and I see a lot of y'all are not subscribed, but that's alright, because hopefully I can convince y'all to come over to this side. Now, I cannot lie to y'all, I don't do reactions, but if I did do reactions, I wouldn't fake reactions. This ain't exactly my first experience in One Piece. When I was a lot younger, I actually read a significant chunk of the manga, I'd say probably up until the beginning of the Alabasta arc. And the reason why I used to read the manga was because it was just easier to get the full cohesive story that way before I had access to giant subscription-based anime catalogs. But somewhere in there, when I did get access to those giant subscription-based anime catalogs and I converted to watching the animes, I kind of got lost in my place in the story. Watched a few episodes here and there, all completely in the wrong place. And then I was just too discouraged to find out where I was supposed to be. And I accepted the shame of never actually finishing One Piece. And then they kept making episodes. It never stopped after all these years. And to be honest with y'all, keeping up with the theme of creator integrity, I don't know if it'll ever stop. But after all this Gear 5 Luffy stuff, I decided to drop my nuts, get on my grown man shit, and here I am, finishing Alabasta. For real though, the political setup was amazing. And from the beginning, because of this political setup, we could see clearly what the themes are for this arc was going into it. Loyalty, leadership, and consequences of power, which each 3 big parties, most involved parties, representing each. Alright, like I said before, I won't go into each individual detail of what's happened in the Alabasta arc because then this whole video will be 39 episodes long. I'm gonna give you the 60-second spark notes of what happened so that y'all can follow me in what I'm talking about. Alabasta is a sovereign country going through a drought. Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, starts a group called Baroque Works to silently and subtly weasel his way in and take control over the kingdom of Alabasta. Because at the end of the day, Alabasta is hurting. They don't got no water, they in a bad situation. So basically he permeates the tiny holes in the public's trust of the monarchy to overthrow the monarchy, take over Alabasta. Princess Vivi, who the Straw Hats end up meeting down the line, infiltrates Baroque Works as an agent to stop them. And of course, the climax of the arc is the Straw Hats actually getting to Alabasta and fighting Crocodile. And the way Oda sets this stuff up is brilliant. The way Crocodile gains the trust of the people and therefore flipping the distrust on the monarchy was so convincing. In the One Piece universe, dance powder is a powder that influences rain by really drying out all of the surrounding areas to make rain in one concentrated spot. Therefore, it is outlawed by the government. Crocodile plants this dance powder on the king's men in front of the people and exposes him. Now Crocodile, the evil guy, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, is now championed as a hero. And the king is pictured as a tyrant. Before the Straw Hats could even get there, Introducing Crocodile as the villain in a submarine bunker surrounded by water and crocodiles in a town that's in a drought is sinister, abominable, downright criminal, despicable, abhorrent? Is abhorrent a word? Horrific, harrowing. And for me, from the watching standpoint, the Crocodile vs. Luffy trilogy is a turning point in the series. There's a lot of firsts in that trilogy. First of all, it's the first time it's a trilogy. Luffy loses twice, and I'd say even more so than Arlong Park. This is the first time Luffy is really just not as good as the opponent that he's fighting. This is also the first time Luffy doesn't win a fight just with his dukes. He wins it with his brains. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, Luffy should have died in that first fight. When watching that fight, I got a sense of the world building that Oda was doing, right? Oda introduced a 7 Warlords of the Sea. I'm not that far into the story, so I don't really know what that means, but it sounded like a big deal. If he just set it up where Luffy was just on par with one of the 7 Warlords of the Sea, you would see how sometimes, like something's fishy here. Something's not adding up. This story is advancing way too fast. Luffy losing to this guy twice was needed. What was also needed was to show that Luffy wasn't just dumb all the time. I think Luffy one-on-one using his own brains to figure out that water is his weakness gave a lot of depth to the character, which Luffy definitely needs. At least in this point of the story. Luffy is the captain of the Straw Hats. And sometimes I feel weird at the fact that all of the Straw Hats look to Luffy as a captain, seeing how goofy he really is. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, they be openly disrespecting him. And to be fair, he has poor decision-making skills a lot of the time. So him using his brains to beat Crocodile was like I wouldn't say a breath of fresh air, but more like you get to see that there's something more than what's on the surface with this character. And you see why he's the captain. And from the story building aspect, from Oda's writing standpoint, it makes perfect sense why this guy, of all people, would want to hoard water and plant his flag in a kingdom without water in it. And Oda gets all of this done, all of these points across, in 3 fight scenes. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Side note, who do you think is smarter, Luffy or Goku? I'm not gonna lie, I might have to give it to Luffy, and that's saying a lot. And also when it comes to the Luffy versus Crocodile trilogy, Crocodile is the first villain to allude to a much bigger world outside of the East Blue, beyond the Grand Line. Crocodile is the first sight we see of somebody bigger in the world of One Piece. I mean, I guess other than Mihawks and Shanks, but it's been a while since we've seen them. Now I'm gonna go into the straight and narrow part of the story, the direct part of the story. No subtleties, just the straight part of the story, which is the perspective of Alabasta. King Cobra and Princess Vivi were set up to be the righteous monarchs for their country. But like that fact was like bashed upside our heads the whole story. Vivi was constantly the example of the weight and responsibility of power, while King Cobra was the example of power in action and the weight of decision making. And I guess gaining trust, or losing trust for that matter. Every time the Straw Hats and Vivi would see Crocodile positioning himself to be, you know, a degenerate dirtbag, they would cut to Vivi, who would preach to us and explicitly list the duties of a monarch to their people. And she did it over and over and over and over again. And even she got tired of it, because at one point she just starts breaking down crying. So from the Alabasta side of it, it was straight and forward, narrow, righteous monarchs. Now, the weirdest part of this arc for me was Baroque Works. Baroque Works was like the undercover operation that was really a cover-up operation for the undercover Crocodile. None of the members were for real serious or put any ounce of fear in my heart. I mean, Zoro 1v1 Mr. 1. 1v1 them. And the way it works is that power power ascends as the numbers descend. Crocodile misses 0, so Mr. 1 is really the top 2 guy. Baroque Works was obviously Crocodile's undercover men to help throw over the kingdom. They only killed 2 people. And they didn't even do that right. And somehow let the princess of the country they were taking over into the group unknowingly. If you didn't recognize Karoo, the butler, okay, I understand that. Not recognizing Vivi, Princess Vivi? Nobody? Yeah, that just screams incompetence. She didn't even have a disguise. And then the most complex party in this story was the Resistance. When they were first introduced, when the Straw Hats actually got to Alabasta, I was so confused on why they were there thematically. After I started to understand their motives, I could see from their perspective how their moves, their decision making, and all of their actions that followed their introduction made sense from their point of view. But then I also didn't exactly know how they were gonna fit into the climax of this story. A resistance being built to overthrow the king aside from Baroque's works amongst the Alabastian people makes sense. But somehow, even having less numbers than Baroque works, they were more terrifying than Baroque works actually was supposed to be. But after finishing the Alabasta arc and seeing the climax, obviously, I can see what they represent. The Alabastian resistance represents the cost of war, the results of manipulated truth, and the struggle between hope and despair, and most importantly, the consequences of giving up hope. Of course, we've been following the Straw Hats. Of course, Baroque works is the villain, Crocodile is the villain. And of course, the Alabastian monarchy is the constant that is a righteous monarch that cares about our people. But it was the introduction of the resistance force and their ties to the monarchy and Princess Vivi and the king that was really the X factor, the curveball, the step back jumper to this whole thing, and made it very interesting to watch. Now, moving on to the viewpoint of the Marines, who somehow find a way to get into every one of these little stories that they got. The Marines were the most annoying party out of all of the parties, even more annoying than Baroque works. They gave credit to the wrong people. They chased the wrong people. They were getting in the way of the Straw Hats, who were objectively the good guys, not even from the point of view of we're watching the Straw Hats, you know, and we're just watching them. No, they were just objectively the good guys in this situation. And if they stopped to analyze the situation for a second, they would have been able to see this. But no, they wait for the worst time to get into 7 different chase scenes and impose their will on a situation that was chaotic even without them. And then ironically, don't even bring enough firepower to make a dent in anything. They didn't put fear in Crocodile or Baroque Works' heart. They didn't help Alabasta, and Smoker cannot single-handedly take down the Straw Hats. But all of this information was available going into it. But anyways, down to the last party, which is the Straw Hats. Even when making an arc this long, I can understand how it would be difficult to equally divide attention and growth between 6 to 7 members of the Straw Hats while making a dramatic political drama pirate thriller. But what I will say is that the whole crew grew together before the last member joins, along with a member that wasn't ever really joining. Everyone had their own role during this whole Alabasta arc, but here are the 3 pirates that I think grew the most outside of Luffy. He's MC. Nami becomes a fighter and starts pulling her own weight. Zoro had great growth moments when being contrasted to the one Marine who can't see without her glasses. I forget her name, but put a picture up of her. But he had that moment, and then also the moment versus Mr. One when he remembered, I guess, fantasized on how to cut iron. And Zoro had a great payoff because we've seen him training so hard in the Chopper mini arc. And speaking of Chopper, I think Chopper is definitely the pirate who grew the most because he's newest to the team. This whole arc, especially with meeting the resistance, helping Sanji, it felt like Chopper was earning his spot on the crew. And by the time they get their 7th member, Chopper is already instated in the group. Like, nobody has secondhand thoughts. And he solidifies himself to be even more useful than Usopp and sometimes even Sanji at points. He's just that guy that does the in-between the line stuff. You know that guy on the basketball team that'll dive on the floor for a loose ball, play hard defense, commit a few fouls here and there. You know what I'm saying? He's not the superstar, but every championship team needs a guy like Chopper. Usopp had a cool moment where he helped Nami, but he was off screen for that. The Straw Hat that I missed the most was Sanji. He was reduced to a secretary. For some reason, in my head, before watching One Piece and all this stuff, I thought Zoro and Sanji were like on the same level when it came to strength because they were beefing all the time. I was dead wrong. And then I'm gonna also touch on Miss All Sunday. I know her name is Nico Robin, but Miss All Sunday has got to be one of the coolest aliases / names I've ever heard. Miss All Sunday. What I noticed about her is that even after she joined the group, nothing about her character was really converted. She just joined the Straw Hats as she was. She didn't get a mini arc. She didn't really get much, which set up for the future. Not gonna spoil anything. I guess it would be spoiling, but it set it up for the future. It was unsettling for me as a watcher to see her board the Mary and mingle or not mingle with the rest of the crew. Now, I want to talk about some of my favorite moments from this arc. Number one might actually have to be the Marine, Smoker, Luffy, Ace chase scene. This chase scene made me feel a way that not a lot of other chase scenes make me feel. There was so much suspense. Let me get into this. Luffy has a brother named Ace who's better than him, and he's been looking for him. Smoker knows his brother, and Ace works for someone that's better than everyone we know up to the point this far. Also, you know your brother is trying to be the Pirate King and you tell him to your face that somebody else that you're working for is gonna be the Pirate King. When they were setting this up, I thought they were gonna do the whole, oh, we're in the same city, but oh, you're looking for Luffy, oh, he just left. You know, the thing where they actually never get to meet each other, or the, oh, Luffy just left 37 minutes ago type thing. But the scene with Luffy and Ace arm wrestling, catching up in the back alleys, just talking as brothers, catching up to speed with all that they've been doing. And each different party has been doing a lot. I mean, he ran up his bounty 100 million, and then Ace is 2nd division captain or whatever. That might be one of my favorite One Piece non-fight scenes so far. And it was set up by the Marines in the chase scene. And then Smoker is a top 5 Marine for me so far. He's up there with Colby. Yeah, he's a Marine. I don't even know if he's a villain for real, especially after this arc. He has a lone wolf, Arthur Morgan type feel to him, and he fits the Marines so well because he doesn't fit the Marines. The Marines are the military. They're supposed to be militant, subordinate. Having a character that you can't pry either of his 2 cigars out of his mouth as he feels his own personal vendetta as a pirate killer, regardless of the higher ups' orders, while also having a naive and green subordinate that I still don't know the name of, is badass. And you can also see the signs of him planting the seeds of making her just like him, i.e. giving up on the Straw Hats and giving her the chance to make a decision on what to do with the crew. And then after the climax of this arc, of course, Nico Robin joins. The Straw Hats win. Alabasta gets her thing. Crocodile goes to Impel Down, which I've heard of before, so I'm guessing we're gonna see him again. The world building is truly set up going forward. This is the first arc past the Grand Line. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Is Nico Robin a trustworthy individual? Who are the other 7 warlords of the sea? Who is Whitebeard and why does he have so many pirates? Why all the Shanks and Mihawks cutaways and why are they working together? What the hell is a poneglyph? What the hell is the Will of D? And also, what is the golden age of pirates and how do you know that the golden age of pirates is starting? 200 episodes in. What and where and why? The legendary weapon Pluton, what is that? And will the next arc be just as good and complicated as the Alabasta arc? Alabasta is the first big boy arc in my eyes, and one of the first of its type going forward. And going forward is Skypiea, which I will be doing next because I've already watched it at this point. Yeah, during the making of this video, I've already completed Skypiea. I'm working on Water 7 right now. So I'm working on the Skypiea videos, the Water 7 videos. I'm excited for this little mini series. Thank y'all for watching this video. Thank y'all for watching this long. If you like the video, please like the video. And hopefully I convince you to subscribe. Check out the streams, me and my boy Dex, and sometimes Sean, sometimes Jeff, sometimes Scoot, sometimes Kid. We be streaming on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and a lot of the days in between. Please like the video. Please subscribe, spread love, give inspiration in all you do. Truly, for real, please give inspiration. Everything you do. Praying for God's blessings on y'all. I hope y'all have a great day. Hopefully y'all have a great week. Whatever you're going through right now, it gets better on the other side. I promise you. Spread love, give inspiration in all you do, and peace out.
Welcome to the Crash Show. Take 2.